Hello everybody, Alex Rothenberg here, the Brutally Honest Guy, and welcome to the February 2024 Brutally Honest Earnings and News Report. So, let's get started. As you can see that I'm back now in Portugal after spending 3 months traveling. Of course I took the cruise from Barcelona to Rio over 19 nights, 20 days. Giving me access to lots of different cities that I've never been to, lots of pictures, book covers, videos. Enjoyed the trip. Then I spent another 2.5 months in Brazil, mostly in Rio and then in São Paulo, and I captured a lot of cool subjects. So it's nice to be back home, or wherever my home is. I'm not sure yet, but I tend to keep my options open these days as a digital nomad, and I'm in Portugal catching up on some work. So as you can see, before embarking to Portugal, I spent 10 days in São Paulo, where I captured some book covers, also some street photography. And São Paulo is one of those cities that I really recommend everybody to visit, and there's a lot to offer. People are usually drawn to Rio with its energy, with its natural beauty, beautiful women, amazing food. But honestly, São Paulo, it doesn't have the nature that Rio offers, but it has something a bit more special. It's a financially more wealthy city, so in many ways you feel safer than in Rio. There's also better infrastructure, better services than in Rio, although it's more expensive as well. And you can see here some of the street art that I captured. Also, there was the tail end of the carnival parade, and some cool shots, murals and the skyline, and also Liberdade, which is São Paulo's home to large ethnic Japanese group. They immigrated to Brazil about 100 years ago. And also some book covers that I captured. So moving on, so some monthly highlights on the blog. I have here 5 tips on achieving book cover photography success in 2024, including an origin story. So this is a long time coming blog post. I had put together 7 tips creating book cover success about 4 years ago, and a lot has happened since then that I would like to share. My work has drastically improved, and I've gotten some tips, added some strings to my bow, and I'm happy to share with you some of my new knowledge on perhaps you've already been accepted at Arcangel, perhaps you're thinking about joining this niche, either Arcangel or Trevelyan or another book cover photography agency. So happy to share some tips, and also my origin story, which is back in the mid-90s when I was doing photography in high school, and some of my black and white images that I created. And even before that, in the early 90s, I was keen on the R.L. Stine Goosebumps series. Perhaps you're familiar with them. And they had some really cool illustrative book covers, colorful, and it resonated with me at the time. And even now, I look back and I think, perhaps I'm creating somewhat similar types of book covers. Especially look at that house there, the haunted house. I created lots of those lately. And here's some of my portfolio back in the mid-90s, black and white. Fast forward 2015, accepted Arcangel. So I go through the chronology of how I've done, and people usually see the tip of the iceberg only. They don't see the struggles that I've been through. Even though I've sold some 30 book cover images, it's taken me 5-6 years, and only the past 2-3 years have I really gained traction to have more accepted and also more sales. So it's been really difficult getting going, and of course I've gotten some great tips from Nash Mascaro and the team over at Arcangel, Michael, Anna, and I've really improved my craft. Also getting the drone has helped a lot to capture some unique angles. So check out this article. Back to the main post. Oh, I also caught up with Daniel Carrere, Microstock Guru, and he put together a blog post on how to avoid PayPal fees. So most of my earnings go through PayPal. I've received them by PayPal, and I get eaten up by fees on pretty much every transaction, every payment that I receive. So he puts a step-by-step guide together on how to avoid those and strategy, and recommend you go through it in detail. It will save you money. I'm certainly going to be implementing some of these strategies. And I took the opportunity also to congratulate him on the excellent blog post and ask him a few questions on how he's been getting on. He's not doing as much editorial footage as before, travel editorial. He is, however, restoring old historical footage and putting them on Pond 5 exclusively. And he's having success with with this project. It's also something that I'm looking forward to doing with my dad's footage from the 70s, 80s, 90s and restoring, and I've asked him for some advice on how to do that. So it's something to stay tuned. There will be more to talk about that. Moving on to... he's also worried about Sora, and frankly we shall be a bit shocked with the quality that's improving with the AI footage. Firstly came the stills, now the footage is becoming disruptive, and it's producing some amazing query based results on that, and it's going to be disrupting all sorts of industries including ours. It's something that I'm going to be catching up on, researching and writing about more in future. But Danielle is certainly worried about this disrupting his income. So moving on to the detailed monthly earnings breakdown. It's been a quite average month. In terms of stills, it's been okay. In terms of footage, it's been a disaster. What I found very interesting is that for the first time this year, actually the second time this year, Shutterstock is not my leading agency in the Microstock industry. It lost out to Adobe Stock in January, and it lost out to iStock in February, surprisingly. So March, perhaps Alamy is gonna be beating them. I really hope so. Really do hope so. So not great, not terrible. And I break down, my main earnings for the month, my best-selling images. And Alamy had some good sales. Not huge sales, but some good sales. Adobe Stock had a good month, $77 with 111 downloads. No major sales, but decent volumes at least. Some bestsellers here. Also Eclipse sold, but only for $4. Pond 5 has just been a disaster. No sales in February. However, I'll give you a heads up for March. Already had 2 quite nice sales that I'll be discussing at the end of the month. iStock has been decent month, $135 combined, plus $75 for a payback scheme, which I don't know anything about, but I'm happy with that. iStock has been really up and down for me for ages. Robert Harding reported, but nothing too special. Moving on to Arcangel, no sales in February, and I'm still waiting to hear March if I got something. Hope so. Nevertheless, it's been a strong month. 165 images accepted, bringing my port to just under 4,000. And here you can see a slideshow with some of my favorite for February. in store for March. March, I'm going to be interviewing a renowned microstock photographer, Andrea Piacquadio. He's a super microstocker who's licensed about 10 million images and 700,000 images per year. And he's going to be discussing some of his strategies in an interview that's coming up soon on how to get started, what he thinks about the industry now, including the AI revolution. And also he's discussing a new stock agency that he opened up called TiltSnap that has a different ethos where stock images are exchanged for social media following. As you know, I'm completely against giving away your images for free. You should never do it for free. However, in this case, perhaps because the person who needs the image is giving something back in terms of following, it's a sort of consideration. It's not quite free, and it might be in many cases more valuable than 10-cent subscription by Shutterstock. Really, I'm trying to be nice here. Check out this agency that he's putting together. Sign up, give it a go. I've uploaded 1 or 2 images on there just to see how it is. But what I'm really looking forward to seeing are some of his answers to the interview questions and pick up some tips. So that's it for this month. It's been a quiet month. Just coming back. What's next? Also for March, other than this interview, I'll be traveling to South Africa for a friend's wedding, taking my drone with me, gonna be capturing some cool shots there in Cape Town, around Cape Town. And the traveling never stops, never going home. Okay, so wish you a nice week ahead.